You're listening to The Jobbers, a podcast that sparks conversation for the average jobber. From wrestling to politics, we cover it all. Let's get started.
Hello and welcome. Today we have Jobbers, Ben, the bus driver,
What's going on, everybody? We got a good one for you.
and of course, myself, the icon, Andrew. And we're going to be talking today about the 2019 mock draft that we put up on the Jobbers website, on our Facebook, Twitter, all that fun stuff. And because there's a big trade, we're going to jump into that to start with. And that is Frank Clark getting traded from Seattle to Kansas City. Ben, what are your initial reactions? Drive me through it.
Well, the fan in me was a big fan of Frank Clark. Sad to see him go. At the same time, it's understandable. Seattle had like 4 draft picks coming into the draft, so trying to get another first round pick out of it is a very good deal for them. And getting draft capital for 2020 is also a bigger deal for them
Right,
for the future.
and you're right. They look into the future, and not just draft stock wise, but they free up some money. Looks like the initial numbers are coming out. It's going to be 63.5 million guaranteed from Kansas City. It's going to be a backloaded contract. I believe we were just talking about it. It's only going to be about $6 million up front to start with, but the total is going to end up being $105.5 million. And then on top of all of that, Seattle gained $17 million in cap space, bringing them up to about $25 million. And on top of all of that, Kansas City actually gains 9.1 in June, actually June 1st, because they cut Eric Berry in time. So now that we kind of have the contract numbers, we know they got a first-round pick for Clark, first, a second from 2020, but they swapped thirds this year. Where do you see the value for Seattle getting the number 29 and then the draft pickup for 2020?
Well, it gives them an additional second round pick to work with. Coming into the 2020 draft, Seattle has 12 draft picks, so they have every possible outcome to move up and down the board as they see fit.
Right. They see a guy they want to get, whether it's the back half of the first round or the front half of the second round, they can always move up. Right.
Yeah. You also got to put into consideration the compensatory picks for 2020.
Right.
And with Earl Thomas, I think Frank Clark counts towards that as well. They're getting multiple guys that are coming from the third round, so you're getting a lot of third round picks as well.
Right, yeah. The compensatory picks essentially are you lose a player to free agency. Baseball actually just dumbed it down a lot because they were giving away first round picks. I believe you said the NFL gives out third round picks. Essentially, Earl Thomas leaves to go to Baltimore. Baltimore gives up their third round pick to Seattle in compensation for losing one of their bigger free agents. Where do you think Seattle's going to go with number 29? They had the number 21 pick in this draft, so there's about an eight position difference. Now, the slotted money number is a little different in those situations. Towards the back, it's still guaranteed money, and they have to get guaranteed contracts, but not a big jump from like 1 to 15. 21 to 29, you're going to see about the same caliber of player, but where do you think they go?
I think you'll see him go either on the offensive side. I think it's going to be either a wide out or a offensive lineman.
Right.
You gotta address that situation after putting money toward Russell Wilson.
So would you be okay? Say they pick oh gosh, what's that guy's name? Oklahoma wide receiver.
Hollywood Brown?
Brown, yeah. AJ Brown from AJ Brown from Ole Miss, or Gosh, I can't think of his name. Yeah, AJ Brown from Ole Miss maybe at 29.
Uh, yeah,
Because I mean, Metcalf
yeah,
probably isn't going to fall that far.
yeah. I would love to see Metcalf, but AJ Brown, yeah, I would like to see a bigger body receiver. Either Seattle's typically seems to have been using the smaller guys, so I would like to see a little more bigger guy in their lineup.
Right. Yeah, and like the Mike Evans style, move them with your body because Baldwin's pretty tiny, Lockett's pretty tiny. Marquise Brown, that's who I was thinking of.
Marquise Brown.
Yeah, he's
Yeah,
5'9" though, 5'9", 166.
I,
Ooh, N'Keal Harry from Arizona State. I thought he was going to be number one for me. I'm surprised that he's not higher on. I'm looking at CBS here. He's number 4, 6'2", 228, and he killed the combine, and he's very solid.
I did see a lot of mock kind of drafts. Just his name has come up for Seattle a lot.
Okay.
A lot. I'm pretty sure he's worked out with Seattle.
Hmm.
During this process. So I wouldn't be. I would love it.
Right.
Love it. I wouldn't be surprised either.
Well, the good thing is, and I'm looking at it right now. I'm looking at the rankings on CBS Sports. We'll go number 70 and up. They're looking at the rank and overall for the draft, not just position ranking. So going from 12 up to 1, these are by the position. Number 70 is Riley Ridley at 6'1". Okay. Number 60, you have J.J. Whiteside from Stanford, 6'2", 225, but he's a senior, a little bit older. The big one that I'm surprised with, Hakeem Butler from Iowa State, 6'5", 227. Holy crap.
Yeah.
And then after that, it's a bunch of 6-foot guys, 5'11". Kelvin Harmon might be a good guy. He ranks number 44. And he's 6th in the position, and he is 6'2", 221. So you got some bigger bodies in this draft, and you got Miles Boykin at number 119. He's 6'4", 220. So
Yeah.
definitely. David Sills, the former quarterback turned wide receiver, 6'3", 211. So they're definitely out there. Oh gosh, Humphrey from Texas, my boy, hook 'em horns, 6'4", 210. Solid frame. But anyway,
Yeah.
we're gonna try to jump into the mock draft here. Oh wait, nope, we got some more stuff to cover with Seattle. I apologize. With the trade, now that we've talked about the flexibility, or sorry, the extra draft pick now, Seattle does gain some stuff, some cap flexibility, like we talked about. What do you think they're going to do with that cap flexibility?
I think the priority right now is to re-sign Bobby Wagner.
Mm-hmm.
They've been in talks for a while. Obviously, opening up 17 million gives him a little more flexibility in giving him a contract.
That's huge money.
Yeah. Also, you got to be looking at Jaron Reed. He's on a contract year this year. He had 10 sacks last season.
Wow.
He's been their best interior defensive tackle in years.
Yeah.
And
Brandon Meebane was like their other big D tackle that they had years ago.
yeah, Meebane was their big D tackle, but he wasn't a pass rusher. He was more of a run stop, one shade nose tackle type of player.
Right. The Vita Vea guy, not the Gerald McCoy.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, so they have that flexibility to go to Wagner, which I think is a great idea. I know Wagner's pushing 30 now, but you can still be effective at 35 as a linebacker, and Reed is a great pick as well. How old? He's not that old. He's probably 26, 27. Something like that. Something like that. But he's a younger guy, and like you said, 10 sacks last year. That's a big number, and you gotta lock those guys up. My biggest question for you, because again, you know the deeper parts of Seattle, where it's gonna open up a new spot because there's nobody who's gonna just jump right in, replace Frank Clark like nothing ever happened. Where do you think they go with that new spot? Who do you think jumps into that position? Oh, is he on the roster? Sorry, is he on the roster currently, or do you think they draft somebody at that spot?
I wouldn't rule out them drafting a edge
Hmm.
rusher in the draft.
Do you think they trade 21 and 29 to jump up to get one of the better guys, Rashawn Gary? Maybe, who knows, Josh Allen if he falls?
You know, oh, before or they traded to the Kansas City Chiefs, they were actually working on getting him to the New York Jets. So,
Hmm.
but for some reason that didn't pan out. I, I think they go. I think they trade down because they still got like 6 or 5 picks. So you would have to. You would think they'd go for a sleeper steal edge rusher, somebody like Chase Winovich.
Right.
And at the same time, you got to look at Rasheem Green, who's on the roster that they drafted in the third round last season.
Hmm.
Season. He didn't do a whole lot. He had a sack against Green Bay, and that was his only highlight.
But still, big highlight.
Yeah, but it's pretty wide open for these younger guys. They re-signed They brought back Cassius Marsh.
He went to New England, correct?
He went to New England. He got. I don't remember if he got cut or traded, but he somehow landed in San Francisco for a couple of years. He's a situational pass rusher, like
Right.
third down.
So, kind of what like because I'm a baseball guy, obviously, and
Yeah,
we do platoons for guys like left fielders, right fielders who say one hits better off of a left-handed pitcher, one hits better off a right-handed pitcher. So, do you kind of see like a platoon situation at where Frank Clark was, where they put Marsh in for pass rushing downs, and maybe more of a run stopper, just eating up the line
yeah,
on a visible third and one. They're running that ball.
yeah, absolutely. I can definitely see already Puna Ford being in those first, second down run situations as a one tech.
Hmm.
Um, and Rasheem Green being out on the edge. You're gonna have a situation where it's gonna be on like third down pass rush situations. You're gonna have Jacob Martin, Cassius Marsh on the edges. And
Hmm.
you have Jaron Reed and Green as your interior pass rush.
Oh.
Rush.
Kind of like that NASCAR package that the Giants did when they won the Super Bowl back in the Patriots' undefeated season.
Oh yeah, well they had that. Seattle had that NASCAR package when they had Frank Clark, Ark Bennett, and Cliff
Oh wow!
Averill. So it should be interesting. As Pete Carroll says, next man up, always compete. So they're gonna find somebody ready to replace Frank Clark.
Right,
And Rasheem Green's 21. So I'm preferably I'm hoping it's the young dude.
right. They already got him under a contract. It's a third round pick, so he doesn't have guaranteed money. He's kind of that expendable. Hey, go eat your heart out, and we'll see if we pay you
Yeah,
after it.
yeah. It's the strength there. It says his age.
Right.
So hopefully it gives him a little more time
Well,
to
and we
develop.
talked about this before the podcast as well. You were saying, some experts were saying he would be a top 10 pick if he would have stayed in college a year longer. For me personally, when I hear that, I think somebody who needs to stay a year extra in college is more of a maturity level, not a physicality level. So the physical ability is there. I wonder because in college you're not getting the maximum amount of coaching that you could get. You're not getting all that dedicated time because there are restrictions for the NCAA. Whereas in the NFL, a lot less restricted. They are still restricted, but you're getting the best of the best coaches at that position. So do you think that the year that he's now been in the NFL bettered him more than he would have stayed in college and got the game experience?
Well, I don't know if it's going to help out with the fact that Pete Carroll's enthusiasm and youth probably helped him feel like he's still in college. Um,
Yeah, that old guy can run up a young
I'm not
field.
really big on that hype factor of staying in a year.
Right,
Here, let's just see how he goes.
right. Well, so we'll get to the other side of the ball. Kansas City, they get Clark, obviously. Obviously, the friendly contract for now, which kind of opens up. It's very interesting. It opens up a lot for moving forward. The 9 million coming off for Eric Berry, I see that going towards Tyreek Hill. They're not going to pay him more than 10 or 11 million dollars, and on top of that, Sammy Watkins after next year comes off their books as well. So Sammy Watkins and his $12 million is going to be going away. On top of that, you have Clark, who's taken a smaller front load, and they're going to backload that big contract because that's going to set up for Mahomes to possibly get a bigger contract, and they can do that now, and then just kind of offset all the money, make the language work to where they can pay these guys and keep a good solid core together. I know Eric Fisher's the third highest paid on that team at like 11-ish million dollars right now, and that is too much money for him. So he'll be coming off the book soon. Outside of that, I think Casey they get a lot of cap flex now because if they would have just taken Frank Clark, taken him on his 1 year flyer and said, "Hey man, we'll talk to you at the end of the year. We'll franchise tag you again if we have to." I think this is a better way to go. You make the guy happy, but you also make your team better now because instead of eating $17 million, you're only eating $6 million, and you're going to kill yourself towards the end of it, but they're not looking for 4 years down the road or 3 years down the road. They're looking for this year and next year only.
Yeah.
Um, and we talked about it off the camera as well. Uh, Frank Clark fits this new defense more. I know you know more about the defense coordinator than I do, but he fits a better scheme fit than D Ford, even though I think D Ford's a better rusher. So, how do you think that he's going to fit into that new KC defense? Hopefully, they're not going to be dead last again.
Um, I don't think they're going to be dead last. Steve Spagnuolo ended up becoming the defensive coordinator.
Hmm.
I think they're going to be more middle of the pack, honestly.
Well, with the
With
number one offense and a middle of the pack defense, that kind of is a recipe to win, right?
Yeah, if you're not if your defense is average and your offense is
Top
just a
three.
goon squad, yeah, you got a high chance of winning.
Now, my.
uh,
Oh, go ahead.
yeah, I was about to say Frank Clark. Or I would say his knock is contained on run defense and setting the edge.
Right.
Edge.
Well, in the AFC West, how many you think about how many rushes there are? Melvin Gordon and shoot the guy Ecker from San Diego. That's one team that'll run on you.
Yeah.
Um, Denver's not going to run on you very much. They got slower guys. Lindsey's a little bit slower. But they run more up the middle, and the Chargers. Oakland ain't running over anybody. Doug Martin's passed.
Yeah, they did pick up Crowell,
Oh,
but
Isaiah Crowell. Yeah,
yeah,
he's more of an up the
he's
middle runner though.
3 yard carry average.
Yeah, he's not bouncing it out. If he's
Yeah.
bouncing it out, they're in trouble. um, Now my question is for Kansas City, they gave up 29, which would have put them in prime position to pick up Josh Jacobs coming out of Alabama, which would have been a good replacement for Kareem Hunt, who we all know got cut in the middle of the season after his suspension and is with the Cleveland Browns now. Damian Williams filled in great during the playoffs, but he was non-existent before that. And Spencer Ware hasn't lived up to the semi-hype that he got coming out. How do you think that affects their running back situation for Kansas City?
Uh, can you repeat that again?
Oh yeah. So Ware is kind of not the guy that we all thought he was going to be, and Williams showed
Yeah.
up for one, like legit, he showed up for one game. Like, let's be honest, I like Williams, and we were watching the three of us, me, you, and Gabe were watching it together, and I even said it to start
Yeah.
with. I was like, Williams is going to be the man. If they're in it, it's because of him, and that's what ended up happening. Now that Kansas City doesn't have number 29, they were primed to get Josh Jacobs from Alabama at that position. Uh, where do you think Kansas City goes with running back? Do you think they're going to stick with Ware? Do you think they're going to stick with Williams? Are they going to make some crazy Mike Ditka trade to try to get Ricky Williams? I mean, Josh Jacobs.
Um, they we got to remember they signed Carlos
That's true.
Hyde in the offseason. So
But he's a slower back. He's not T.J. Yeldon. He's not a quicker catch it out of the backfield and run away. He's that power back, run it up the middle, I form
yeah,
kind of guy.
more reliable than Spencer Ware though. Oh,
Very true.
when he before he got traded, Carlos Hyde did very well in Cleveland. Um, yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if they did end up drafting speed back later in the draft.
Right.
Yeah.
Somebody just to kind of ease that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Power back, maybe like a Thunder Lightning thing. Reggie Bush, Lindell White from USC back in the day.
Yeah.
Well, we're gonna go ahead and just move on though to the mock draft. We kind of, we like that Seattle trade. I think for me at least, I think it's a good trade for both teams. I don't know.
I,
Uh,
I agree.
Good. Yeah, I think it's solid for both teams. But that being said, at number 29, we're gonna go ahead and let you know that we did pick number 29 because we did this draft way ahead of time.
Yeah.
So it's not most recent. It's actually been published like a couple days before. So 29, Kansas City, you're picking, but in our hearts, Seattle.
Yeah.
So we'll go ahead and start off with number one. We're gonna touch on some of these really quick. Sorry, I know Ben wants to get his bit in really quick about how the draft is set up, but we're just gonna kind of touch over a few of them, and then we're gonna go in depth about a few that we were really excited about or just had to talk about. But yeah, go ahead and talk about your about how the whole thing's set up, Ben.
Pretty much this 2019 NFL draft. Uh, we'll be looking at each team and the draft situation for the first round. From starting from number 1 through 32. Trades 8 are all hypothetical, and all picks are their own draft using a draft simulator.
Right. So number one, the number one pick and the number two pick, completely separate drafts, completely different trades, total different situations. So it's kind of like hey, we ran one and this is what we got, and we just kind of ran with it. So
Yeah.
number one, Arizona, they stick with their pick and they take Kyler Murray out of Oklahoma. To me, no surprise. I know that they've been throwing a lot of shade right now about that trade, about picking Boza. But just like a quick analysis, what do you think?
Um, it's been all the hype. People have been talking about Kyler
Right.
Murray to Arizona. This is Cliff Kingsbury air raid offense.
Mhm.
Uh, yeah, he I guess fits what Kingsbury wants to do over Josh Rosen, and I think that Josh Rosen getting traded would probably factor into Kyler Murray being the number one pick.
Right. My biggest concern, like you said, he does fit what Kingsbury wants to do. He quote measured at 5'10". He's 5'9". Like, let's be honest, they helped him out there. Because when I was in college, I was put down as 6'2". I'm 5'11" and 3/4 of an inch. So they
Yeah.
help you out. But my biggest thing that when you look at him is his body type. He's a thinner frame. You look at Baker Mayfield and Russell Wilson, their shoulders, they're more pronounced. They're wider. They have that big body. So when they add on weight, it doesn't alter how they throw. It doesn't alter how they move. With Murray, you add muscle to him. It's not gonna flow right with him. So we gave this one a C plus. just kind of like it's what we expected. It's a decent pick, but it's not the best one. Moving on though, we're going to go ahead and go to number 2, and that's going to be San Francisco 49ers. The pick here is actually going to be Devin White, and that is he's a linebacker out of LSU, and he's going to go number 4 to San Francisco. And Grady Williams, cornerback out of LSU, is going to go number 27 to San Francisco because there was a trade. San Francisco is going to go ahead and give up the number 2 pick number 2 pick and Nick Mullins for the number 4 pick and the number 27 pick. Quick thoughts on that one, Ben?
Uh, I think Greedy Williams is actually a good fit for them. Was Richard Sherman on the other side? Witherspoon was picked apart a lot during the year. I think Greedy Williams would be a better fit and better player than Witherspoon.
Right.
Devin White gives you the flexibility at the linebacker spot. They like to run a similar defense to what Pete Carroll, Gus Bradley, Dan Quinn likes to run. So whether you put him at middle or a outside backer spot where you have him go sideline to sideline and hit somebody.
Right. Well, and it makes sense for San Francisco because they fill 2 big needs out of this, and with Kyler Murray getting picked number 1, they want to make sure they get Bosa, which they do. They end up Oakland trades up to number 2, gets Bosa. That's the guy they wanted. Great replacement for Khalil Mack, and it works out for them. He's younger. He fits what Oakland wants to do. But my biggest thing is San Francisco does not draft another defensive lineman. I'm sick of seeing them pick a defensive lineman in the first round.
Yeah.
So I gave that one an A-. I figure that's a pretty fitting one considering you're gaining 2 really big positions that are needs for you, and you fill them with the best linebacker and the best corner. So A- at minimum. So we're going to move on now to number 3. That's the New York Jets. They are going to go ahead and pick Andre Dillard, left tackle out of Washington State. But before that trade could be made, or before that pick could be made, it was traded. New York Jets will receive the number 16 pick in 2019. They will also receive the 2020 first rounder and second rounder from Carolina, who will give up the number 16 for the number 3, and a 4th rounder they will receive from New York, and they will also receive the rights to Javon Curse, which I'm assuming they would keep because Devin Funch is left. Thoughts on this one?
They get the best offensive lineman in the draft.
Right.
You kind of need that with the health of Cam Newton.
The pick goes to the Jets. The Jets would get.
Oh, my bad.
Dillard.
My bad.
No, you're good.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, but I mean, you still need it for Darnold and Le'Veon Bell.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, not that makes more sense. Andre Dillard, yeah, Le'Veon Bell. It's gonna have some patience with Dillard, and that's a better fit for New York than Carolina.
Well, Bus Driver gave us a little bit of a swerve there, but you know how it goes.
Yeah.
That's why he's the bus driver. He's good at things. Now, I mean, for me at least, what I see is on my end, I see the Jets get the best talent at tackle. He's obviously not the most polished, but at the same time, they get a first round next year as well and a second from a team in Carolina. We talked about it before off the air. You also think Cam Newton's not coming back. I know they're confident in him coming back, but if Cam Newton doesn't come back, next year's first could be the first overall pick, right?
Yeah, you can you can throw away this season.
Absolutely,
if he's not back.
So Jets might have just stolen the draft with that one. So they get an A out of it. I mean, hey, Carolina, even with Cam Newton, still might not even make the playoffs. So hey, you know what? Top 15 pick on top of Probably the Jets getting a number 3 pick next year. Who knows?
Yeah,
Number
win-win.
4, Oakland's going to go ahead and stay at number 4. No trade. I know we're kind of getting fast and furious with the trades here. They take Nick Bosa. Pretty basic. I mean, even in a realistic draft, you have Murray going number 1, or Bosa possibly going number 1, or Allen going number 1. But either way, you don't see Bosa going to the Jets really. You see him going to either San Francisco, Arizona, or Oakland. What are your thoughts?
It seems like a safe pick for the most part. You need they need a body on the defensive side. Nick Bosa is a very good body on the defensive side of the football. Yeah, it's better than what they got right now.
Very true. And obviously making up for Khalil Mack's a big thing. And if they get Bosa at number 4 without having to trade up to get him, by all means, Khalil Mack. I love Khalil Mack. I was hoping Houston was going to draft him number 1 instead of Clowney, but you know what? Bosa's not a bad backup option for him.
Yeah.
Um, really quick though, what made this interesting was there were some trades that caused Bosa to fall. So Seattle made a series of trades. They traded Russell Wilson with the new contract to the Giants for the number 6 pick. They then took the number 6 pick and their number 26 pick, or 21, right? 21 for Seattle, correct?
Yeah.
So they took 6 and 21. They flipped it to the Cards for number 1. They took Kyler Murray at number 1. And that caused the Broncos and Elway to freak out because Elway has to be the biggest dick in the room and take a quarterback. So he moved up to number 2, got Drew Lock, and then Bengals with Zach Taylor is like, well, if you're going to do it, we're going to do it. They moved up to number 3, took Dwayne Haskins, and dropped Bosa right in Oakland's lap. So B plus for Oakland. Again, not Khalil Mack, but very, very good backup pick, and he's young. So not bad. Number 5, pretty basic. We all kind of know how it's going to go. Tampa Bay is going to take Quinnen Williams. If he's there, they have to take him. Thoughts?
Quinn Williams is my favorite player in this draft. Pretty sure he's going to be the next Aaron Donald. So,
Which makes sense. Absolutely makes sense.
With Todd Bowles as a defensive coordinator in Tampa Bay, you put him sort of in a similar spot as Aaron Donald, pretty much as Aaron Donald was Wade Phillips' defense in the LA Rams.
Right.
Rams.
And Donald moved from the interior to the exterior. He was a pass rusher. He was a run stopper. And Williams kind of does it all.
Yeah.
So say that pick goes through. What does that mean for Vita Vea? Because he does not fit that 3-4 defense that Bowles wants to run.
Yeah, I feel like you either gotta trade him, or with his size, I think you put him at nose tackle.
Mm-hmm.
Nose tackle, and try to eat up double teams.
Right, but he's not going to be a starter. I mean, he just doesn't fit. Even in that situation, you're just not going to put him over Gerald McCoy or Quinnen Williams at nose tackle, D tackle.
Yeah, he's looking like an odd man out in this situation.
Right, and that kind of sucks because as a first round pick, they really thought they were moving forward. But hey, progress is progress.
Yep.
That one, because again, Ben's favorite pick there, we're going A plus. I think that is the perfect, most ideal situation for both player and team, other than one moving forward. And we'll talk about that. It's later on, so stay with us.
Yeah.
Number 6, we have the New York Giants going Devin White. No trades involved. Giants fans, you will rest easy. We are not taking Daniel Jones at number 6. Ben freaked out a little earlier because he thought that's what was going to happen. But we're not. So Murray, Bosa, Haskins, Locke, and Allen were all taken. So I also feared Jones is going to be the pick here. I'm glad it didn't happen. We went Devin White. We talked about him a little bit before. How do you think he's going to be with the Giants, though? How do you think he would end up being with the Giants?
So it's a different situation
San Francisco.
than San Francisco. I believe they're going to be running a 3-4 defense with James Bedger at D coordinator.
Hmm.
Uh, so I'm not sure if he fits that kind of scheme.
Hmm.
Um, uh, it's just a lot of work. You either put him in that into he's got to be an inside linebacker in a 3-4,
Well,
or I think
he's an interior linebacker for a 4-3 defense. So
4-3.
I think he does fit that 3-4. I think he's so versatile.
Yeah,
He is Bobby Wagner, where he can play he can play outside if he wanted to, but he's better on the inside.
right.
For me at least, I like the pick myself. Honestly, the Giants have so much at need needs in the draft. I mean,
Yeah,
you could trade down, get people. I mean, they lost a lot of people. They lost Olivier Vernon. They lost Landon Collins. BJ Goodson's their starting linebacker. If you know who
yeah.
BJ Goodson is, we'd love to have you on the podcast. But if you know who he is, uh, not a top tier guy. So they really need to build that defense. They have to build a whole offense now, but it's a good start putting an anchor on defense though.
Yeah.
Uh, that one gets a C plus. That has nothing to do with Devin White. Love Devin White. I think he's the best linebacker in this class, and that includes the edge rushers. But it's the Giants. The Giants bring this from an A to a C plus because they're the Giants. Number 7, we're gonna move down to Jacksonville. We do have another trade. Denver becomes on the clock at number 7, and Jacksonville will take the number 10 pick. And Denver also sends over Emmanuel Sanders, and they will eat all of his contract except for the vet minimum. Thoughts on this one, Ben? Is a different pick. Uh,
So, oh, you're telling me they get both Emmanuel Sanders and DK?
they will get both Emmanuel Sanders and DK Metcalf.
That's a quite a take. Uh, Uncle Rico's nephew's got to be thrilled to get 2 receivers. There's bail him out. I feel like DK Metcalf would fit well with Nick Foles. Was the way it kind of reminds me of a similar type of player in Alshon Jeffrey.
Yep.
If you get him to a point where he
High
high
points
point
it.
the ball.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, this is actually a good trade for Jacksonville. I'm surprised.
Yeah. I know, right? Jacksonville making a good trade. Uh,
Yeah,
this one, for me at least, was a big standout for our draft. We have a few that stood out to us. So a little more in depth on this one for me at least. Um, I love it because anytime somebody can take advantage of John Elway, I love it. Elway just has that need to pick a quarterback. Like something in his gut says, "I was the best quarterback. I'm gonna find somebody and make them me." And that's just not how it works. And I think they're gonna overreach. And I think this is probably this was for me at least such a sensible pick of what might actually happen or sensible trade that might actually happen to where it makes me wonder, will Denver actually be willing to give up, you know, eat a lot of salary just to get rid of Emmanuel Sanders, which I mean, he's on the backside of 30, not doing the greatest. He's been injured a few times, but he fits Jacksonville. And this allows Marquise Lee, who had a pretty bad injury, he has a really big contract that just doesn't mesh well with what Jacksonville's trying to do now on offense. I think they can cut Lee, they can trade him, they get a 5th round pick for Lee. I think that's a steal. But that defense is solid, and them adding 2 legitimate receivers to go along with Cole and Westbrook, I think having that option, like you said, that Alshon Jeffrey big guy, go up and get it. Except for DK is much faster than Alshon ever was.
yeah,
And you saw what Nick and Jeffries did together in a Super Bowl. So imagine what a younger Alshon would do with Nick Foles. So for me at least, I'm giving it an A minus, and I think it's fantastic. We're gonna go ahead and move on though to Detroit. They're picking at number 8, no trade. Josh Allen actually falls to number 8, and Detroit will gladly pick him. Thought about that one, Ben?
It's a good fit. Detroit Lions are looking for an edge rusher with Ziggy Ansah as a free agent.
Mhm.
They really don't have an answer. They did pick up Trey Flowers in the offseason.
Right.
So that helps out. But uh, Patricia, uh, I think he has the scheme to do well.
Hmm.
Well, he just doesn't have the right guys, and I think Josh Allen would be a good fit for the Detroit Lions.
Right. I think it's a good one as well. Um, Lions pick up a good edge rusher to go with Flowers. I think it's a good little 1-2 punch. You can move Flowers to one side, move Allen to the other side, create some confusion. But for me, Lions are just kind of like the Giants. They have so many needs. It's kind of like
Yeah.
pick your pick where it's at and kind of go from there. And for that reason, give it a C plus. Also, for me at least, I think again, not saying anything bad about Josh Allen. I just think if there's going to be a bust out of this draft class for the first round, Josh Allen's my pick for the bust. He,
Right.
don't get me wrong, played for the SEC, Kentucky and all that, but he had one good year. Proud of you,
Right.
good, get your money, do your thing. I'm all for players doing that, but if there's going to be a bust, I think it's him.
Yeah. Speaking of Josh Allen, number 9 is Buffalo Bills. Bills.
Segue.
There is a trade. Buffalo gets the 17th pick, a 2020 third round outer, and Janoris Jenkins, and they go down to number 17 from the Giants, and they decide to draft Andre Dillard, the offensive tackle from Washington State. You have anything to say on that one?
Love it. I know this is one for you, but I love it.
Yeah.
Josh Allen needs it. We talked about it before. I think adding a wide receiver would be great, but it's hard to pick against the best offensive tackle. Side note, the Giants moved up to number 9 to pick Daniel Jones. So I'll leave it be at that, and I'll pass it on over to you, man.
All right. Yeah, like I said, Ed, receiver would probably be nice because they dropped a lot of footballs, a lot. But Dillard's there. Josh Allen doesn't have to run as much for his life. Yeah, moving on. Number 10, the Denver Broncos. There is no trade here, and they select Quinnen Williams at defensive tackle from Alabama. And this one slightly annoys me only for the fact that Quinnen Williams falls to number 10. I think he's a top 5, more like a top 3 pick.
So ding, ding, though. This is your most outrageous pick.
Yes, it is.
Tone of voice gets up.
It really annoys me. Yeah. But however, with that said, Vic Fangio's a guy that doesn't have a specific scheme aim that he likes to run. But having Bradley Chubb, Quinnen Williams, and Von Miller on that defense, rest in peace, quarterbacks.
I agree 100% with you. Like I said, John Elway has this like fear in his body that if he doesn't make the next best him, people are going to hate him. And I think he decides to listen to his coaches, and his evaluation staff, and says, "You're dumb if you don't take Aaron Donald at number 10." And like you said, rest in peace, quarterbacks. Derek Carr, your brother would love a new person to take over his sack record for a season. I like you. I like your brother because I'm a Texans fan. But, yeah, dude, run. John Gruden might end up getting run out just by Quinnen Williams in this Broncos defense.
All right. Moving on to number 11, which
Oh,
is
uh,
Cincinnati. Oh, that's you.
yeah, really quick. No, really quick though.
Yeah.
Number 9, we gave that a B plus. I think it's a B plus big because they get corner
Yeah.
and they get the guy that they need on the offensive line, and obviously Quentin Williams A plus because how do you not get the best defensive player in the draft to fall to number 10? It just no.
Yeah, absolutely.
uh, but you're like you said, number 11, Cincinnati Bengals. This one actually is going to be a little weird. It is a trade. Now, I will give you my grade ahead of time because you will understand my hatred for this more. It would have been an A plus, but this pick actually makes the Patriots better, so it gets an A. The pick is Drew Lock at number 32 from the Patriots. Cincinnati gets number 32 from 2019, and they also get the third round pick from the Patriots, plus a 2020 second and fifth rounder, moving up from 32 to 11. Big jump. So Patriots just get the number 11. Cincinnati gets their picks. Thoughts on this one?
Uh, the Patriots have the picks to move up and down the board, and unfortunately,
That makes us both so mad.
yes, yes, it's like that Anchorman two quote. I can't even say it right. It's like I hate you, but damn it, I respect you.
And it's very true. It's very true. They're able to move up and down the board. Do you have any? So real quick though, Patriots end up trading for T.J. Hawkinson to replace Gronk. This happens and they trade up to number 11 or higher in three-quarters of our drafts because Green Bay is the most sensible pick for tight end. Do you have any thoughts on the Patriots side of this or the Bengals side of this?
Um, Honestly, not necessarily. Cincinnati needs all the help they can get. Uh, so I think them getting draft picks is probably the most sensible thing for them.
Right, and for me at least, this one for me was a little bit bigger on my end because I do like Drew Lock. We talked about the comparison earlier. Jay
Yeah.
Cutler was one person that got brought up, and I agree. He doesn't have the arm strength that Cutler does, but he's that gunslinger. And with Zach Taylor coming in as the new head coach for Cincinnati, I believe he's going to be the play caller as well. I think he's going to take a mold out of what McVay did. He's going to get his
Yeah.
quarterback. He's going to make sure that he knows the offense, and Andy Dalton's going to be a year or two, and then he's traded or cut. And I think the best landing spot for Dalton would be Washington, to be fair.
Yeah. Yeah, I can see that.
Him and Gruden would go really well. I mean, look at what him and Gruden did when they were together in Cincinnati.
Yeah, you're right.
Uh,
Hey,
I mean, he could extend his career. You have Alex Smith, who we don't even know if he's going to have a career anymore with his leg. We hope he gets better soon. Uh, but with Cincinnati, I feel like getting the picks, you're right. Getting the picks, huge, huge upgrade for them because this year and next year are going to be big rebuilding years for them. But getting your quarterback, letting him sit behind Dalton, who Dalton is not a bad quarterback. He's a very smart quarterback. He's just not physically talented like a Lock or most
yeah.
most NFL quarterbacks, but he's very smart and that's what helps him. And having AJ Green, having John Ross, that speed, the size, that'll help Lock when he does supplant Dalton at quarterback within the next year or two. But again, A plus would have been, but it helps the Patriots, so just an A.
Yeah.
Number 12, again, the biggest reason why the Patriots were moving up was the Green Bay Packers selecting TJ Hawkinson, tight end out of Iowa. Ben, there's no trade from this one. What are your thoughts about the Packers just sitting here and taking Hawkinson?
Uh, it's a good fit. He's probably the best tight end in the draft. Maybe the best offensive player in the draft. Was what he can do in terms of blocking and in the pass game. They needed a tight end since Jermichael Finley.
Mm-hmm.
and he seems to fit that mold. And with Matt LaFleur as their head coach, he'll probably help him out with the run game aim and help build holes for Aaron Jones.
Right. And like you said, the run game, I think that's the biggest add here is LaFleur wants to run the ball a little bit more like he did in Tennessee. He wants to move the offensive line. He wants to move that line of scrimmage forward and not just create passing lanes for Aaron Rodgers, who Aaron Rodgers can create his own passing lanes.
Yeah,
That's why he's the man. If we were giving him a nickname, he's the man. And
yeah,
right now, I think this gives them a sense of urgency, saying, "We're giving you a weapon, Aaron. We're giving you a weapon, Aaron Jones. Let's see what you guys do with it." And like you said, best offensive player in the draft. I kind of gotta agree with you. He does literally everything. He is a healthy version of Rob Gronkowski coming out of the draft, and Gronk was taken with a bad back, with surgeries pending still, was taken in the second round. So imagine if Gronk wouldn't have been hurt, he would have been falling right into this position as well. So for me at least, that gets an A plus.
Moving on to number 13, it's Miami Dolphins, and they traded this pick, and they ended up getting Josh Rosen and 2020 second rounder. And
Ding, ding, ding for this one.
yeah, from the hints of this, it's they traded with the Arizona Cardinals. Uh,
Well,
uh,
like you said though, they traded it away. So this was Ben's most sensible trade.
just out of the quarterbacks, I think this is actually a good situation for Josh Rosen in terms of he gets to sit behind Ryan Fitzpatrick, which is could either go really great or really bad. Ed, because half the time when you have Ryan Fitzpatrick, your plan is to tank the season. Ryan Fitzpatrick
or win half
says
the year.
no. Yeah, Fitzpatrick says no. We're going to go 8-8 and possibly make the playoffs. Yeah. So, depending on how they go with the situation with Josh Rosen. I think who are their receiving options? Do we know?
Miami.
Yeah.
They still have Albert Wilson, who they signed a big contract with.
Okay.
And oh gosh, oh no, I know his name too. I'm gonna Google it really quick. I apologize,
Stills?
guys. Darren's wait,
Kenny
who?
Stills?
Kenny Stills. That's who I was thinking of. Kenny Stills.
All right.
Great slot receiver, but he's not Larry Fitzgerald. So,
Yeah.
for me, my takeaway from this, we kind of fought back and forth on who would get this one. I agree with Ben. This is hands down the most sensible pick in this draft. And I think this is probably, if we see anything happen, I think this one is probably going to be the one that happens. They pick up a second round pick in 2020 with Rosen as well. I think Rosen goes in as a starter over Fitzpatrick. And they just kind of say, hey, Fitzpatrick, teach him as he goes. They give Fitzpatrick his time. And if Rosen gets hurt or he's having a bad time, they just say, hey, you're not being removed as a starter permanently. We want to give you time to clear your head. We want to give you time to relax. This might be a little too much for you. And that's where Fitzpatrick can come in and fill in for 4 games and not kill their season. But like you said, Stills and Wilson, and who's their running back?
Kenyon Drake.
Kenyon Drake. Not a bad running back, but that offensive line is terrible.
Yeah.
They're going to kill Rosen.
It's same situation.
Right. Well, here's the biggest part of it though. Arizona had already picked Kyler Murray number 1. They trade Rosen and the 2020 second rounder so they can move up to 13 because they get to pick DK Metcalf. Larry Fitzgerald, DK Metcalf. Done and done. Arizona's in the playoffs.
Yep.
That one did get a C plus, by the way. I think it's sensible. but it's not a big splash.
Yeah. And going to number 14, the Atlanta Falcons, and this is one absolute cluster. Uh,
Which one would this be for you?
this is probably my. It's there is trades.
would,
So
would you say this is the most outrageous trade?
yes, it's the most outrageous trade.
Let's
It's-
hear it.
So this is the trades here. Atlanta gets the number 4 and the 24th pick in the draft, and they trade Matt Ryan and a third rounder to Oakland. And in addition, Atlanta gets the 7th pick in the draft. And Jacksonville gets Mohamed Sanu in the 2019 14th pick. And correct me if I'm reading this right. The picks that Atlanta gets is Kyler Murray,
At number 4.
At number 4, Andre Dillard from number 7, and DK Metcalf at 24.
All of those are correct, sir. That is no typo. Blood pressure's going through the roof. I can hear it.
I don't understand this one. Simply because I don't understand why you trade your MVP quarterback away. On top of that, for some reason, I thought Julio Jones, but it's Mohamed Sanu, so I'm a little okay with that.
When I originally did that trade, they wanted Julio Jones. That was like Julio Jones, and I was like, Mohamed Sanu in a first round pick because it was Julio Jones in a third rounder.
Yeah,
I thought that was too much.
What's that all being said though? Oh, I do like DK Metcalf. Because now you have DK and Julio on the outsides and Calvin Ridley in the slot at third option. You can do a whole lot with that. You just got to deal with an unproven Kyler Murray.
Well, the big part about that is though, you get Matt Ryan, who is 33, compared to Kyler Murray, who's 22. Sure, Matt Ryan did throw for almost 5,000 yards last year, 4,924 to be exact. But the year before, 4,095, 20 touchdowns, 12 interceptions, 64% completion percentage, and a 91 QB rating. So, are we calling it a fluke year of his down, or are we calling it a fluke of his up?
It was a fluke of his down because part of that was he had Kyle Shanahan and as his offensive coordinator.
Well, then Shanahan left for 2017. It was Sarkisian was 2017.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying though.
Right.
Oh, Shanahan and was in there. Matt Ryan had an MVP year. Mm-hmm. Steve Sarkisian came in there, and he's bad. He's Brian Schottenheimer bad as an offensive coordinator. and Matt Ryan this year still somehow to pull whatever he did to get his MVP numbers back up. But yeah, I don't know.
So, but my question for you now is, I get it, Matt Ryan. I know you're really high on Matt Ryan. I'm getting there. Don't get me wrong, I'm getting there. But he is, for me at least, he's an average quarterback in an extraordinary situation. It's like, I'm not saying Kurt Warner is bad, but it's like Kurt Warner in Arizona with Larry Fitzgerald and Anquan Boldin. Like, for me at least, I think that's an extraordinary situation with an average quarterback.
Yeah.
I'm not saying
it is, but
oh, good.
I don't think he's an average quarterback though.
Okay.
Oh.
20 touchdowns and 12 interceptions, to me at least, that screams average.
Yeah, the 1 year out of how many?
True. True. Get that. Oh, I just. Oh.
Yeah, there's difference of opinion here.
Yeah, definitely difference of opinion. So just looking at it at his seasons here, since he came into the league, 2008, 16 and 11, 22 and 14, 28 and 9, 29 and 12, 32 and 14, 26 and 17, 28 and 14, 21 16, 38 7, 2012, 35 7. So he's good for over 10 interceptions a year and over 20 touchdowns a year. 4,000 yards or more, and for the most part, 4,500 yards or more. Do we expect more from a Julio Jones-led offense? Really?
Well, the thing is, they hired Dirk Cotter, the former Tampa Bay head coach, who was Matt Ryan's original offensive coordinator.
Look at what he did with. Oh gosh, don't say that because that makes me worried now. 2000. When did he leave? He was probably there for a few years.
Dirk Cotter.
Yeah, I'm assuming he left in 2012 because that's when he got a spike in touchdowns.
He left in 2014. He was hired. He was hired in 2012. 2012 to 2014.
Okay. So 2012 to 2014, you had 32, 14, 26, 17, 28, 14. Average, to me at least. 4,700 yards, 45, 4,600. I don't know. Cotter did really good with Jameis Winston, and he actually, when Lovie Smith was the head coach, and Cotter was able to sit there and do the offensive coordinating, he made Jameis Winston better, and it made people wonder, or not have to wonder so much, was he worth the number one pick? When he became a head coach, I don't think there's few people that should not be head coaches. Andy Reid's one of them. Cotter's one of them. They're great, They're great offensive minds. We've seen what Andy Reid did. Could you imagine if Andy Reid didn't have to think about defense or managing a game? If all he had to worry about was calling the best plays, he would be unstoppable. Yeah. Pete Carroll is the head coach. Andy Reid at offensive coordinator, and take your pick at defense. That team right there would be winning a Super Bowl.
Okay, yeah.
But in my opinion, like I said, I think if you can get younger, that's the other part about this trade, is Kyler Murray, DK Metcalf, and Andre Dillard make you younger. You now have Metcalf and Ridley for the next 8 to 9 years. You have Kyler Murray for 10 years. That and Dillard for another 8 to 9 years. You get rid of Sanu's contract. That's a big contract that they didn't need. And you get rid of Matt Ryan's big contract. Now you can bring in more help on that offensive line because that defense, when they're healthy, is one of the best defense, right? They're young defense as well.
Yeah.
So for me at least, I think it's an A+. Ben's probably thinking opposite.
I give that no grade.
No grade?
Yeah.
Oh, my heart. Oh, I think I'm having a heart attack.
Yeah. Moving on to offensive things. Number 15, the Washington Redskins.
Yeah, one offense to another.
There is no trade here, thank God. The pick here is Greedy Williams out of LSU, the cornerback. And as far as I'm aware, this is one of those things where they tried to trade up for a quarterback, and it just didn't pan out, so they just ended up getting the best player available.
Well, and it wasn't even that. They couldn't even trade down. Like, I tried hard. I was giving it away. Nobody wanted it. Yeah.
Yeah. So.
Yeah. D-.
Go ahead. Yeah.
Would have been an F- if it wasn't for Greedy Williams being such a great cornerback, but
yeah, not really a lot about that one for Washington. Hopefully tomorrow here, luck is better.
Yeah. Sorry, Washington.
Moving on to number 16, the Carolina Panthers. Receiver out of Ole Miss, and that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
It's Devin Funches leaving for Indianapolis.
Yeah, I
Leaves
mean,
DJ Moore as a. Go ahead.
oh yeah, no, all
All right.
all you, man.
Yeah, DJ Moore, or it's got to improve from the season before.
Hmm.
Um, so giving him giving Cam Newton another option to work with is probably a good idea.
Right. They had outside of McCaffrey and Moore, their offense was garbage, to say the least. I'd say it was garbage. Bad offensive line, a lot of drop passes, no targets. I think they even benched Funches at one point. Their defense is okay. When they signed
Yeah.
Eric Reed, they got a lot better. So I don't see them going too heavy on the defense in the first or second round. Metcalf makes a lot of sense. DJ Moore is quick, but he's also fast. Whereas Metcalf is fast, but not quick.
Yeah.
Can't do the in and out routes. Whereas Moore really excels in the slant and running his ins and outs. It just he's they complement each other really well. And for me at least, I gave it a C plus.
I actually do agree with the grade there. I think you do got to be concerned that the last two drafts actually go receiver in the first round.
Right.
Uh,
But it's hard to pass up Metcalf at that point, though.
that is also true.
And Moore worked out pretty well. Moore's a solid two, iffy on one.
Yeah. And moving on. Number 17, the New York Giants. No trade. They surprisingly picked Daniel Jones here. Surprise to me.
Well, not a
Uh,
surprise to Gettleman.
yes. Yes. Yeah. In my opinion, I see Daniel Jones going six,
Oh,
instead of 17th spot, because I just think Dave Gettleman's going to just screw this thing over for the New York Giants.
do you think somebody's paying him to be this bad? Because nobody can be this bad on purpose. I mean, without doing it on purpose, right?
You would hope. You would hope, but I don't think that's the case. He's just bad. But Daniel Jones is is the guy that Dave Gettleman likes, and hopefully
Obsessed with.
Pat Shermer likes there. Unfortunately, similar player to Eli Manning from the comps I've seen.
Yeah, big arm, nice and tall in the pocket, throws a lot of interceptions. I mean, it's like you're getting Eli Manning part two.
Yeah,
Uh, the one surprise I will say out of this specific draft for the Giants was my favorite quarterback in this draft. Will Greer from West Virginia was actually picked ahead of Jones. I don't remember what the pick was, but Greer getting picked in the first round. Yes, it's a reach. Don't get me wrong, but I think he's going to have the best career out of Murray, Haskins, Locke, Greer, and Jones. And that's not saying that was it Tyree Jackson from Buffalo.
yeah.
He might end up kind of surprising a lot of people, but Greer for me is such a solid quarterback, very smart, not the biggest arm, but he's very accurate. So for me at least, that's it. My grade on this was a D plus because I mean, Giants still need a quarterback. I have a feeling you're going to go A plus because it wasn't a six. It wasn't the six overall, but that's just my thought of what you go
I did give it a C minus because it's Dave Gettleman.
with.
Next pick is number 18, the Minnesota Viking experience. Uh,
War. Whoa. Oh, we can't do that anymore. Sorry.
yeah, no trade. The Minnesota Vikings go with the offensive tackle out of Alabama, Jonah Williams. I feel like this is a safe pick here. They've been trying to rebuild that offensive line for a while.
Yeah.
Huh.
Protecting Kirk Cousins is probably one of their biggest needs right now. We saw how
Yeah,
bad their offensive line was last year. God, they had
it,
Wait, they had 9 different offensive lines before like week 3 of the season, right?
That
Or was it
sounds
like week
about right. Yeah.
yeah, it was bad.
It, just go back to that Buffalo Bills Vikings game, and Kirk Cousins just was fumbling the ball. Oh, he couldn't get to it. He couldn't get to like a second option in his progression.
He was scared for his life, and that's saying something if you're scared of the Bills.
That's a weird sentence to say.
Oh
Uh,
God, I know. It hurts my heart to say that.
yeah.
um, Personal opinion though about the pick there with Jonah Williams. He's definitely the most polished tackle out of this group. I would say he is not top 5 tackle wise talented. I think Dillard's better and Juwan Taylor's better. There's a couple guys who are just better talent wise, but he understands the game really well and he's a good leader on that offensive line. But I just sure,
Yeah.
being at number 18 kind of fits. Because they can move him in at guard at some point if they need to.
Yeah. They got so many holes. Jonah Williams is probably versatile enough to fill a lot of holes.
Absolutely. Because if they get a good left tackle in the second or third round, who knows?
Yeah.
That did get a C plus. I think for me at least, that's a solid pick.
Yeah, it's a safe pick. Not not really a splash,
Yep.
as you think.
Definitely not a splash.
Yeah.
But it doesn't hurt.
Well, Tennessee Titans. It's the number 19 pick, and they what was the Iowa tight end Noah Fant. Arguably the best catching tight end in the draft, and I guess in this one he was taken third. He was the third tight end taken in the draft, I should say. I feel like this makes a lot of sense. Delaney Walker isn't getting any younger. He missed majority of the year.
Yes, he
year,
did.
didn't he?
Yeah.
So yeah, you need to target for or Marcus Mariota for half season, and hopefully Tannehill will throw to him as well.
I like that. It was a good work in for their trade earlier. For me, at least, you're right. I definitely think that Noah's probably the best pass catching tight end. That being said, I think he's one of the worst blocking tight ends, but I love him. I still love him. If he went to Houston, I would love it. I would be jumping for joy. I'm happy. The surprising pick, though, was Irv Smith going number 12 to Green Bay, and the Pats picking Hawkinson at number 10 from Denver. But Fant, I think this is the best situation for him at the end of the day. He literally he's Delaney Walker younger. So there's not much layover from going from veteran to young guy.
Yeah.
Grade on that one, we gave that a B, unless Ben thinks otherwise.
No, it's a solid pick for Tennessee and E here.
I'm just waiting to hear another no grade. Oh, my heart.
Yeah.
That was a solid pick.
Yeah. You know who's not solid right now? The relationship with Antonio Brown and the Pittsburgh Steelers. And Pittsburgh.
Too soon.
20th pick. And there was a trade here. Looks like Pittsburgh Steelers traded up to get the 10th pick. And the Jets ended up getting the 20th pick, a 2023rd and 5th round draft picks.
Now, to preface that really quick, the Jets originally had number 3. The Jets actually traded back to Denver because Denver wanted to trade up to get Locke. Locke ended up getting picked at 2. They got Haskins. Oh no, wait, they did get Haskins. Sorry, I apologize. Haskins went to the number 2 pick, which was not San Francisco. But Locke ended up going number 3 to Denver. They got Jets got picks, then Pittsburgh traded in. Sorry.
Yeah, no worries. There's yeah, so Devin White to Pittsburgh. Uh, does kind of remind me of Ryan Shazier in terms of athleticism.
Right.
I don't think we're going to see Ryan Shazier here back in the NFL. Well, it would be a good feel good story, but I don't think it's worth the risk. It's
For him and the NFL, at least. I think the
yeah,
NFL is trying to stay far away from him playing again as possible.
yeah, and I think he's a similar style to Shazier in terms of athleticism.
And I agree. I love we know my affection for Devin White. Uh, for me at least, he's top 3 defensive player in this draft. For certain teams, he's probably the best player for them. Quinnen Williams to the Steelers just wouldn't make any sense. I
Yeah,
mean, sure, Hayward's getting a little bit older, but White's a definite need for them, and I think he fills a lot of that area that they need. Uh, Biggest thing for me though is how about the Jets mock GM being better than the Jets actual GM by trading and just gaining picks and just saying, hey, we're gonna go what the Browns did. Look what they did with one draft. They turned an entire Cleveland team around.
just turned into a money ball.
Yeah, hey man,
It worked.
they didn't give Sasha Brown enough time there. I think he would have done a lot
Yeah.
better than what we're seeing. But this pick ends up
Oh,
getting a C plus. I think Pittsburgh gave up just a little too much, but they kind of got what they needed. So win-win,
yeah.
but at a cost.
I'll agree with that grade. And moving on to 21st pick, which is Seattle Seahawks. They don't trade down or trade up. They end up picking offensive lineman Jawan Taylor from Florida. Uh, this isn't a surprise. Seattle's always typically looking for offensive linemen. It seems like, and Jawan Taylor just happens to fall all here in a defensive heavy draft. That's,
Yeah,
that's
they took him. I thought that was a good pick for them at least.
yeah.
Like you said, defensive heavy draft. The quarterbacks, Greer again went in the first round. We had 5 quarterbacks go in the first round. Um, the Jonah Williams and Andre Dillard got picked pretty early, but at the end of the day, Taylor falls, and I think it's a good solid pick for them.
Yeah, it's a good solid pick. Normally, I'd be cautious about Seattle picking an offensive lineman, simply because of Tom Cable. The good news is Tom Cable's an Oakland Raider, and we got
Yay!
Mike Solari. So I'm hoping Mike Solari knows how to use linemen, and it seemed like he knows how to use Jermaine Ifedi. So who knows?
Right. Look what
Oh,
he did with him in 1 year, and now
yeah.
you take a better talent. Like we're gonna be honest with you, Jawan Taylor's a better talent than Fetty. I mean
Oh
that's
yeah.
night and day difference. Uh, Essentially, Jawan Taylor could be a top 10 pick with Jacksonville. I mean, I believe in this draft, Jacksonville traded down a bunch, got collected picks, and they made big splash, which sure worked for them. Uh, but Taylor, for me at least, is a top 10 pick, and they get him at 21. So grade, I'm giving A minus, and I'm not a big C chicken fan, but this is a good steal. This is again top 5 pick for me at least, and the biggest move or non-move. This is a definite steal.
Yeah. That'd be nice for a change. Change that offensive lineman would work out. We haven't had an offensive lineman work out in the first round since Steve Hutchinson and Walter Jones.
Hey, and Hutchinson was great, and Walter Jones was also fantastic. Hall of Fame,
Yeah.
correct?
Yeah, I actually saw Walter Jones get inducted to the Hall of Fame in Canton.
See, There you go. And now you have the possibility of getting another one. So you could be watching the next Hall of Fame tackle being drafted by Seattle.
Let's not get ahead of ourselves.
He's got the talent. He's got the
Yeah.
talent. But
Number 22 is the Baltimore Ravens. There is no trade. And the pick here is Jeffrey Simmons, the defensive tackle out of Mississippi State. And I don't think there's a lot to say about it.
well, I'm surprised that they made a pick. We know that Baltimore is famous for not picking when they should be picking. Uh, but you're right. Nothing to really say here. For me, when I watched this come through, it was nobody wanted to move up to 22 because all the big players have been taken 1 through 15. It was legit scramble. Once it got to 15, the talent dropped straight down. All the guys, the big names that you're hearing, gone 1 through 15. And the Ravens didn't move up to get anybody because they have Lamar Jackson, so they don't need a quarterback. They should have moved up to get DK because they need a wide receiver. They didn't do that. They should have moved up to get Marquise Brown. They didn't do that. He got picked. A.J. Brown should have got picked. He didn't get picked by Baltimore. And I feel like they missed the mark on this one.
Yeah.
And so they got an F. They are the lone legitimate F on this one.
Yeah. Well, moving on. 23rd pick in this one, it's the Houston Texans. And they select Grady Williams. And I think I'll let you take this one.
Well, I'm a Texans fan. And when Williams fell, it was hard not to move up. I wrote this in the article. It was hard not to move up to 21 to take DK Metcalf because I was salivating at the idea of Hopkins and Metcalf on the outside with Fuller on the inside. That would have been like having Randy Moss times 2 on the outside. That speed, that height, that athleticism, and then putting a much better Wes Welker on the inside and having Deshaun Watson, who is just starting to come around, throwing to those guys. I mean, could you imagine? Just deep balls. You wouldn't even need Lamar Miller anymore. Just deep balls.
Yeah. Absolutely. Air raid.
But yeah, that was the idea. Baltimore ended up picking him in that one because he fell to 22. But Noah Fant and T.J. Hawkinson were picked. And for me, at least, it didn't make sense to take Irv Smith. I don't think he is a first-round tight end for me, at least. He has a lot to work on. But there's a lot to be valued by teams who are tight end needy. But losing Kareem Jackson, and Tyrann Mathieu to free agency, it was a no-brainer. Had to go corner, and we got the best corner. So, B-.
Good pick.
Now, number 24 was the Oakland Raiders, and seriously, they did not pick anybody. The reason why? You guessed it. There was a trade. And what was that? My most outrageous trade. Now, hear me out before everybody gets butthurt. Oakland gets Aaron Rodgers, 2020 fourth rounder, and a 2021 first rounder. Green Bay gets a 2019 number 24 pick, which they turn into Ed Oliver because for some reason he dropped that far. And Green Bay also gets the number 27 pick, who they turn into Grady Williams. And then on top of that, they get quarterback Derek Carr. Oakland will eat some of that money. And on top of that, they get Marshawn Lynch, who's going to go ahead and retire and save them more cap space. Ben, I call it outrageous in a great way. Am I alone in this one?
You probably are. At the same time, I understand this trade. John it makes sense in terms of John Gruden likes older quarterbacks, so you might as well get the best old quarterback not named Tom Brady. Um,
But Aaron Rodgers fits what John Gruden wants to do.
yeah,
Derek Carr does not.
yeah. Then uh, Derek Carr are should be able to fit Matt McFleurs. That's
LaFleur.
his name.
Yeah,
Yeah.
LaFleur.
Okay. He should be able to fit his offense as to what they're able to do.
Right. And Derek Carr being more of a mobile quarterback, don't get me wrong, Aaron Rodgers can roll out and do his thing, but Derek Carr uses his legs a lot more and he uses it to be deadly, kind of like how Mariota did as well. And I love Aaron Rodgers. I think he's a great quarterback. I think Green Bay has failed him as a franchise. They gave him a head coach who stopped caring. They gave him a GM who didn't want to give him the talent. It's like Carson Palmer
Yeah.
all over again in Cincinnati, where he's going to have to force his way out. And oddly enough, to Oakland.
Yeah.
But for me at least, Green Bay gets a steal as well. Ed Oliver at 24. I mean, it doesn't help Oakland at all because Oakland's defensive line is pretty solid. The edge rushers are what they need help with. But Ed Oliver to Green Bay, that's a that's a huge steal. And then Grady Williams to go into that secondary that was pretty weak last year. Uh, that's huge. And they get younger with Derek Carr as well. They have younger receivers. They get a younger quarterback. For me, at least, I think it's a win-win. Also, to add to this, Oakland took Metcalf at number 4. So Aaron Rodgers throwing to Antonio Brown, DK Metcalf. Hard to not want to see that.
Yeah.
uh,
Offense. Yeah.
what was that?
Offensively, you got Williams. That Williams from the Los Angeles Chargers as well in the
Yeah.
mix.
Tyrell Williams. I forgot about him.
Yeah, we keep forgetting about him. So
Dude,
yeah,
that allows Antonio Brown to go into the slot where he's most deadly.
yeah,
Could you imagine two guys that are 6'4", 220 plus, that one's godly fast, the other one's kind of fast but can really high point it. And for a 6'4" guy, Williams does have some good ins and outs in his breaks. You have those guys on the outside. You have Jared Cook is in Oakland still, correct?
yeah. I think he's got another year there.
Right. So you have another good pass catching tight end, and then you
They
put
played.
oh,
You played together.
what was that?
They played together. Jared Cook and Rodgers.
Oh yeah, Jared Cook had a great year. That's when he took off
Yeah.
to go to Tennessee, right?
So Jared Cook was in Tennessee. I actually don't remember the order, but he was in Tennessee, the Rams.
That's where he went to. He went from Green
Yeah.
Bay to the Rams because he got a big contract, and then they cut him.
Yeah, he went to Oakland.
Yeah, now he's at Oakland.
Yeah,
That tells you something.
yeah,
But if you have that, and then after all of that, you still have one of the best receivers. Sure, again, I'm one of those people who believe smaller twitch receivers, once they hit 30, they're just like running backs, they start to decline. But you get him at age 30. And if you build a semi good defense around him, and you have probably one of the top 3 offenses, we saw Kansas City with the worst defense and the best offense go to the AFC Championship. I think Aaron Rodgers would probably get to the Super Bowl with that team. And I think Antonio Brown might win an MVP. But like I said, I think I'm alone in that. A plus for me.
talking that through, I can see the A plus grade.
Mhm.
I don't know if yeah, I'll give it an A plus.
If you're Green Bay, do you make that trade though?
No,
Oh,
I don't. I don't think
knowing you get Ed Oliver, Grady Williams, and Derek Carr, and you're gaining what $9 million in cap space as well.
Okay. I'm gonna pull. I'm gonna pull a politician and actually say yes. I'll make that trade.
I like it. All right, now we're making moves. I'm making progress on you,
Uh,
man. I'm gonna get you thinking like me. It's gonna be weird. Number 25. Philadelphia Eagles are not gonna pick somebody. They're actually also gonna make a trade. This time, again, another weird situation with the draft. Philadelphia is going to go ahead and get Nick Chubb, 2019 and 2020 second round picks. Cleveland will get the number 25 pick and just that. And they will use that for Rashawn Gary. Ben, thoughts on Chubb in the second rounders going to Philly and Gary going to Cleveland?
Gary's an interesting prospect because it seems like people don't know if he's a defensive tackle or he's a linebacker. It
Right.
seems like with his size.
Yeah, he's a big
I
body. Yeah.
yeah I actually haven't paid attention to who's the defensive coordinator now in Cleveland, so I don't know what I
They're sticking with the 4-3. They're going to stick with
are
the
they
4-3.
sticking 4-3?
Yeah. They got rid of Shelton last year. They moved away from that 3-4 and they're going back to that 4-3.
In that case, I can see them just sticking him with at defensive tackle,
Mm-hmm.
but it'd be more or in a flex position in terms of pass rush. So whether he's on that three shade or he's on the outside.
Right. And well, the other part about it is they could do a lot of zone blitzing with him. They could
Yeah,
they could back him out into coverage, or they could just they could stand him up at linebacker and then have him bust up the middle because he's so quick. If he's standing up and coming over center, that's a great move for him. He's already moving and
yeah,
he's got the speed of a D tackle, or he's got the speed of a linebacker, strength of a D tackle. That's kind of crazy.
yeah.
uh, Thoughts on Chubb going to Philadelphia?
It's Cleveland's got to be confident in Kareem Hunt coming back in the next within the 8 game suspension. So with that said, the Philadelphia Eagles always getting Nick Chubb after trading for Jordan Howard. It's a pretty good combination there with Jordan Howard. He's not really a good catching back. Where Nick Chubb is better than
Receiver.
Howard in that regard.
Yeah.
Hard. So it's a good 1-2 combination. Both can be power backs.
Hmm.
Power back, and that's kind of what they missed is when LeGarrette Blount left for Detroit.
Right. Right. Um, Now with Chubb being there, he's under contract a little bit longer, whereas Jordan Howard is at the end of his deal. Uh, for me, at least, I think it's going to be an interesting way for it to play out, where if Howard overplays Chubb, I think they trade Chubb next year, or they keep him on for another year. But if Chubb is equal to or just a little greater than Howard, I think they let Howard go at the end of the year.
I agree with that assessment. I think Chubb will do better than Howard
Hmm.
in this scenario. Oh, just for the simple fact, when it came to the Bears offense, and it's not a knock on Jordan Howard, but anytime Howard was on the field, everybody knew the ball was going to go to Jordan Howard unless it was a play action.
Right. They knew he wasn't catching the ball out of the backfield.
Yeah,
Cohen, on the other hand, I think Cohen would have been a great pickup for Philly, but apples and
absolutely. They don't have Darren Sproles, so
yeah,
that he's exactly that mold
but faster.
mold type. Yeah, faster, younger.
Yeah, everything you want in a running back for Philadelphia's. We gave that a B, by the way. I think that's a.
Yeah, it's a good assessment there.
We're gonna go ahead and move on to number 26. That would be the Indianapolis Colts. They are going to move up to number 18. They trade with Minnesota. We talked earlier about Minnesota needing offensive line help. They'll get Anthony Costanzo and the 2019 number 26 pick from Indianapolis. Um, Indianapolis does eat all but the bare minimum for Costanzo, so it's a no risk, high reward for Minnesota. Indianapolis gets what I think is top 5 move up in the draft, and that would be they get Ed Oliver at number 18. And Indianapolis, in a big way, needs help on defense, and I think that's the best defensive investment they've had since Dwight Freeney.
Yeah, yeah. He's a very versatile defensive lineman. He allows you to have flexibility in terms of where you place him. It's going to help out Darius Leonard. Leonard big time.
Right.
Yeah, but who else is that? Who else do they have in Indy's defense? It seemed like they didn't do that. They were middle of the pack, I thought.
They don't have a lot of stars. They have Jamal Sheard from he left New England and went to Indianapolis last year. He played pretty well, but outside of that, they really don't have. They don't have the star per se. They have a lot of role players that play well together.
Okay.
They're like Golden State without the big names. They like to be a team.
Yeah. All right.
Number 27. I kind of regret Oh, by the way, we gave the Indianapolis one an A. I think that's a no-brainer. You get Ed Oliver at number 18. Yeah. Number 27. I kind of regret giving this a B. I feel I'm torn. So Oakland picks Deontay Thompson out of Alabama, safety. Oakland used number 4 to get Nick Bosa. They used number 24 to get DeAndre Baker. And they settle for who could possibly be the best safety in the draft. They do need a safety, so I understand the need for it. But the more and more I look at it, it's like safety in the first round. It's not Tyrann Mathieu. It's not Brian Dawkins. It's not Ed Reed. Is it worth it at 27 to take that safety who's just kind of? It's not even Cam Chancellor. It's like Cam Chancellor after the neck injury, but if he played.
Ouch.
Oh, I'm sorry. Too soon.
Yeah, a little bit.
What's your thought on this one? I mean, it's an interesting pick.
I find this interesting because as you got Carl Joseph, you have Carl Joseph, and they signed LaMarcus Joyner as well.
Right, but Joyner the last few years has been playing a lot of nickel corner.
Okay.
So when they do like a three wide out, he'll drop down from safety to come in to play corner, and they'll put an actual safety in. And didn't.
Thompson would give him that flexibility there.
Yeah, and he didn't really start as a safety even. So
okay,
he couldn't even beat out Rashard Jones last year with Miami. So
that says a lot. Yeah, I sort of expected Raiders to. I sort of expected Raiders to come out early with their first round picks to go defensive heavy.
Yeah, they honestly they need a lot more defensive help than anything.
And then after their free agency, they went heavy on offense. And it was Tyrell, Trenton Brown, and Mr. Big Chest.
Well, and then they also got Vontaze Burfict. So I mean, they did invest a little bit on defense, although I don't really like Burfict that much. But he fits what Raiders want to do.
That said, I still want to see how. I really want to know if Hard Knocks is with the Raiders this year. Because I want to see Antonio Brown was Vontaze Burfict. I want to see that segment.
Nothing but love, brother. Nothing but love. You know, that's exactly what they're going to say.
Yeah, so moving on with a 28th pick. It's the Los Angeles Chargers. I'm just surprised I didn't see San Diego Chargers there.
Did I type in San Diego?
Yeah, you typed in San Diego, but
sorry, guys. They'll always be San Diego to us.
They end up picking Dexter Lawrence, the defensive tackle out of Clemson. Uh, I feel like this is a safe pick, safe player. Eh, fills the need for the style of defense NCAA play.
And
Uh,
ding, 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 ding. This is also Ben's most sensible pick.
yeah, it really is. You need a guy that's going to eventually replace Brandon Mebane, and he does that. He's also got a pretty solid bull rush, eat double teams. He can pretty much do it all as his big giant defensive
Hmm.
tackle. I don't think I don't necessarily think pass rush. Actually, he's going to be a big factor,
Hmm.
but he's going to really help out Joey Bosa and Melvin Ingram.
Well,
In terms
okay,
of getting creating space.
right, and that's what you said earlier. You know, the creating the style of play that they want to do, and eating up space. It's like Vince Wilfork with New England for so many years, and in Houston. You know, J.J. Watt had his best years with Vince Wilfork in the middle, and I think you're right. I think Ingram and Boza are going to be getting so much space because Lawrence is a big guy. He's not just a wide guy. He is a length guy. His arm length is ridiculous. So he can fill gaps. He can take those double teams and you can chew right through them. You're right. He's not going to get more than maybe 2 sacks in a season. If he gets more than that, added bonus, applaud to you. But he's going to
Yeah.
be the reason why their run defense, and they had a great defense last year, and I think it's going to get better, especially with Lawrence. Uh, but if that happens, their run defense is going to be top notch, probably
Yeah.
top 10.
Yeah.
For me though, at least this was a plus, or this is an A grade, and definitely one of my top 5 move slash non move for this draft.
Yeah. Yeah. And by the way, Chargers, if you play the Patriots again in the playoffs, do not do the zone and allow James White to eat up 10 yards every catch.
So really quick, I mean, if you do play zone defense, at least mix in some man coverage. I mean, we watched that entire game, didn't even make an adjustment, not even a little adjustment. You let Derwin James, one of the best safeties in the league, sit back and do nothing. Just my heart.
Yeah. Oh, moving on. Uh, Continuing with the AFC West, you got the Kansas City Chiefs. He's at 29, and looks like there is no pick here.
And not because of the trade for Frank Clark.
Yeah, yeah. This was written a couple days ago, right before Frank Clark happened. So, in this situation, Kansas City got Vita Vea. Yeah, 2020 first, third, and fifth rounder, and Tampa Bay got the 29th spot, and at the time, Eric Berry. Berry. This is simply a fit situation. Vita Vea is better at the 4-3, 3-4, or and considering the situation now was Frank Clark, or that would be an even better trade if they had it.
Absolutely.
Per se.
Um, Frank Clark, when they moved to that 3-4, Frank Clark needs a run stuffer like Vea. He needs somebody who's going to give him that space. And this right here is hands down the best thing ever for for Vea in his career. And then uh, to kind of go with that as well, I think Tampa Bay is the best position for Eric Berry. Even now we know that he's been released, I think Tampa Bay would be the perfect position for Eric Berry. He gets a chance to start over, and on top of that, he gets to play in a defense that is safety dependent. In Todd Bowles, we saw how many safeties that Todd Bowles took in his time in New York, and he's trying to get an Eric Berry type, and now he gets Eric Berry.
Yeah.
For us, we gave that a B plus. I mean, for me at least. Uh, Thoughts on that one, Ben? For grade?
Grade. I give it a B plus.
Yeah,
I said both teams seem to
yeah.
win out.
I mean, you give up a former first round pick, a first round the next year, a third and a fifth, but you're getting literally from nothing the 29th pick and Eric Berry. So
Yeah.
it made sense.
Yep. And number 30 is the Green Bay Packers.
Oof.
And they selected A.J. Brown, receiver out of Ole Miss. Yes. What's your thought on A.J. Brown here? I actually don't know much about this one.
So I really like AJ Brown. 6 foot 226 is what he measured at. To me, he's Devonte Adams again.
Okay.
Which would be great for Aaron Rodgers. I put down. I think Brown would probably win Rookie of the Year if he went to this position and Rodgers is still on the team and healthy. Reason being, everybody's going to double team Devonte Adams. AJ Brown's a rookie. He doesn't have that cash yet where people will have to look at him. They have to stare him down. And as he gets better, working with Adams and Rodgers, he's going to explode. He's a lot more versatile than DK. He can play in the slot. He plays on the outside.
Right.
He has great breaks. He moves better than Marquise Brown. Marquise Brown's a little bit faster than AJ Brown, and DK is much faster than AJ Brown. But at the end of the day, being able to break in and out on quick turns, you're able to sell a go route, stop and run it in. That right there is what's going to make Aaron Rodgers trust you a lot more, and it's why Randall Cobb succeeded so much in Green Bay. For me, I gave that an A. I know you, like I said, you don't know much about AJ Brown, but
Okay.
yeah,
That's
he's a
good
bigger
assessment here. Yeah.
he's a bigger Randall Cobb, which is good. I mean, look at what Randall Cobb did
Yeah.
for Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah, absolutely. 31, it's the Los Angeles Rams. And there's a trade here. The LA Rams got Marcel Darius from Jacksonville and a 22nd and 4th round picks. And Jacksonville got the 31st pick in the draft. This is probably the best outcome because Marcel Darius will be filling in the Ndamukong Suh's role in this defense, and you don't have to move up to do that.
Right. And on top of that, the big thing about these trades is the teams that are giving up these veterans that are making big money, that team's eating that contract. So Marcel Darius is going to the Rams for essentially nothing. Vet minimum, which I believe is $500K right now. And you're essentially getting, it's a boomer bust kind of thing. If he busts, you kind of expected that. He's at the end of his career and you want to hold on for him another maybe year or two. Or if he booms, hey man, he could be on his resurge coming back for his career. Just like in Ndamukong Suh, we all thought he was done in Miami. And then look what he did in Los Angeles. So big boom bust kind of a thing. But I don't think the way that this draft shook out wasn't in favor of the Rams. They didn't have any legit options to take there that would make sense to make them a better team. And then for what it's worth, the Jags did take Daniel Jones at number 31, which still is a little bit of a reach.
Yeah.
We did grade that at a C. I don't know, thoughts on that grade or anything else to go with it?
It's a fair grade, Abe, in terms of it. It's either going to work out with the Rams or it's not. It's boom or bust. So like you said.
And you know what? If I think Darius has 2 years on his contract. If he booms, great. They have him for another year. If he busts, they dump him. They don't. They lose nothing. It's like taking a seventh round pick and dropping him for nothing. So, last pick of the draft. Now, we all know the Patriots would love to have 4 more years of Tom Brady, and they would take the tears of crying children to bring youth back into Tom Brady. But Bill Belichick does that already. That's where Bill Belichick's joy has gone, is into Tom Brady to make him young again. So, as much as I hate the Patriots, for me, it started off as a joke. We were sitting around. This is like mid-season last year. It started off as a joke, saying, "Man, wouldn't Rosen be really great in New England? Like, oh, this would be a great fit for him." And then the more and more I thought about it, I was like, "Damn, that would be a great fit." And when they hired Kingsbury, I'm like, "Oh, that'd be a great fit for Rosen as well." And then I hear they're trying to go after Kyler Murray. Kyler Murray's, burned baseball, which I disagree with, but that's another topic, another time.
Yeah.
And I started thinking about it more and more. I'm like, holy crap. Rosen's getting traded to the Patriots. And in this mock draft, the very last pick of the first round was not a pick. It was a trade. It started with a trade. And it was a straight Josh Rosen for the number 32 pick. I don't think you can. Where Miami Miami got, I believe, a second to go with it. Miami got a second rounder for the next year to go with it. And I think you can ask that at number 13. I don't think you can ask that at 32. But for me, this is how I think that trade goes. Bill Belichick calls up the young guy, Kingsbury, and he's like, "Hey, man, I guess we'll take Rosen off your hands. Maybe. I don't know. Let me get back to you." And then before he could hang up, Kingsbury, feeling like he just stole something from Bill Belichick, "Yeah, we'll do it. Don't hang up. You're the winner. Thank you so much for taking him off of our hands," after they pick Kyler Murray. And the doomsday begins. Josh McDaniels takes over, and so does Rosen. They win 7 Super Bowls in the next 14 years, and I have to listen to Gabe talk about the new GOAT.
Yeah.
Realistically, though, this is the most sensible pick, or most sensible trade out of this whole thing, because Rosen going from Arizona to New England, it makes a ton of sense. If they take Kyler Murray, nobody's going to give up a first-round pick for Rosen. And it's not because Rosen isn't talented. It's just the guys who are going to take Rosen are going to take Daniel Jones. They're going to take the Dwayne Haskins, and they're going to take the Drew Locks. So why not give up a 32 for essentially what could be a second-round talent? Thoughts?
Yeah, this is a trade that we think most likely could happen. This in this scenario over here, this is the most likely first round pick Arizona would get. It. I don't see them getting a higher first round pick out of Josh Rosen.
Right. I mean, it's a stretch. Don't get me wrong. If you got a second round pick with Rosen to Miami, that's kind of
Yeah.
but you're looking at the back end of this draft. So New England needs a quarterback. Rams don't need a quarterback. Packers don't need a quarterback. Chiefs don't need a quarterback. Chargers still don't need a quarterback. Philip Rivers is never going to get old.
Yeah.
Raiders, they don't need Rosen. Colts don't need him. Eagles don't need him. Raiders again. Texans don't need him. Ravens still don't need him. Sea Chickens don't need him. Pittsburgh might need him, but 20 is still a stretch. I think number 20 for Rosen straight across is too much. They would need to give something back, maybe like a third.
Yeah.
Titans aren't going for him. Vikings aren't going for him. Panthers aren't going for him. Redskins, maybe. Redskins, 15 straight across for Rosen. That might be a possibility if all those quarterbacks go away.
Possibly.
But other than that, Miami, I think, is the highest you go because no way, because 12 again is Green Bay. Cincinnati's not giving up number 11. Broncos aren't giving up number 10. I mean, there's just 13's a stretch, 15's a stretch, 32 seems just right.
Yeah.
I gave that an A plus because I think that's the best fit for Rosen, and I hate the Patriots so much. Yes, I hate them with burning passion, but
It's not fair.
it's not fair. The NFL wants them to do so well.
They got the easiest schedule this year.
Oh, do they really?
Yeah, and strength of schedule, they have the easiest schedule.
Just give everything to. You know what, man? You know why they gave him the easiest schedule? Tom Brady, for some reason, probably feel like he's going to get hurt this year. So he called Robert Kraft, said, "Hey, man, give me an easy schedule so when I come back for the playoffs, I can win us the Super Bowl." And then let this Rosen kid, let him fill in. It's like they're running the league or something.
Rosen wins like 9 games.
Oh, God, could you imagine? Brady gets hurt the first game of the year. Rosen goes, 9-7. They make the playoffs still. Brady comes back as the wild card, wins the Super Bowl, leaves. Thanks, kid, for getting me to the playoffs. I'll take it from here.
The stupid situation in my head, it is something similar to that, but you just have the replay of Brady taking over Drew Bledsoe.
Oh, you think Rosen's going to take over and win the Super Bowl?
Yeah, just a swerve. Josh Rosen takes over Tom Brady, and wins the Super Bowl.
Oh, bus driver swerve again. Ooh. I mean, I hate the Patriots, but
it's a vicious cycle.
I could be okay with Rosen doing that. I could be okay with that because if it's not like when Matt Castle was winning with the Patriots, I feel like everybody was kind of like, "Hey, man, this Matt Castle guy, that's kind of nice." But
yeah,
when it's Tom Brady winning, everybody hates him. So, I mean, hell, if Jimmy Garoppolo would have stayed in New England, I would love Jimmy Garoppolo coming out of the draft. I wanted Houston to take him. I say that every time. We pull up the Facebook thing every year, and I'm like, look, I said Khalil Mack number 1, Derek Carr with the second pick with the first pick in the second round. And what happened? Oakland did that, and they made the playoffs. And look what we got stuck with: fucking Brandon Weeden.
Don't ask me about quarterbacks. I thought Deshaun Kaiser was better than Deshaun Watson, and that's a different story for another day.
Well,
yeah.
So the thing that I look at with quarterbacks, and that's why when we talk about Rosen, is he's so effortless with his throw. He uses his legs. He knows how to use his body all in one motion. He doesn't have a long throw. I love Tim Tebow. Slowest throwing mechanic on the planet for a quarterback. Jesus. You know, and when you have that slow release, it's now I'm trying to throw to the left side of the field. When you're Peyton Manning, Tom Brady's got pretty slow release. We'll stick with Peyton. Peyton had one of the quickest releases. I mean, nobody's going to argue that, you know. And when he's trying to throw to the left side of the field, he looks to the center of the field or the right side of the field and then quickly throws that ball to the left side. Whereas Tebow looks to the right, starts his throwing motion once he gets to the left side of the field, because you can't start that throwing motion, that long throwing motion, trying to throw it to the right, because your arm would be facing complete opposite direction. You have to turn your whole body to turn and throw. Whereas Peyton Manning, that ball straight up, pop and throw. And Rosen has that quick release. Kyler Murray has it. Russell Wilson has it. Baker Mayfield has it. Drew Brees has it. Nice, easy, fluid motion where they can look down the center of the field and start their throwing motion while getting ready to throw it to the left side of the field. And when you have that big arm drag like Kaiser does, you can't do that. Aaron Rodgers, when he throws his deep ball, he does that. When he throws short, nice and simple throws. And when you watch that throwing motion, for me at least, that's one of the things that separates the top tier talents to the DeShone Kaisers. And not saying Kaiser can't get better,
Right.
he definitely can. And being with Rogers, he'll learn a lot. But yeah, Deshaun Watson, much better.
Absolutely.
Perfect. Well, do you have anything else to add, man? I know it's kind of a long one, and just the two of us. I know we got a little blood pressure going.
Yeah, it's calmed down thanks to the breathing patterns of DDP yoga.
Yeah, which we were going to be. Ben gave us a start date. What was it again?
Um, it's gonna be next week. Depending on when you guys are available. Hopefully Monday or so.
Mondays, days off for Monday, so I'm all for it.
All right. Yeah.
So
Yeah. Yeah. Definitely the 29th then.
perfect. Well, what I want you guys to do, listeners, please do. Uh, Ben's trying to get his certifications and do all this with DDP Yoga. We're gonna come up with a some dedicated YouTube time for his journey to become a certified trainer. And he's gonna write some articles. He's gonna do some solo stuff about DDP Yoga, and he wants to help build that with you guys. He wants you guys to see what it's like to become that, and something to strive for. And then he's also gonna make us feel like, you know, the like myself, the heavy set guy that I am, and he's gonna help guide us to getting a better grip on our weight and helping our bodies. And you have a little bit you want to say about DDP Yoga, man?
Uh, yeah, DDP yoga. I've been doing it for 2 years. It's been the best thing that I've been doing, and I started out as a 330 pound, 21-year-old
Well,
and I've lost 120 pounds in the last 2 years.
it's awesome, man.
2 years. Been it's been a very different thing that I've been doing for the ever. I weigh less than I did in high school
Jeez.
thanks to DDP yoga.
And
Uh,
is it like, so, like, just kind of like a brief little like walkthrough? Is it, do you change your eating habits? Like, is there anything else? I know I tried the 7 day trial of it, and I saw some of it. I took yoga in college. I took yoga when I was playing minor league ball, and it helped out a lot. And I know that yoga is more about stretching, and I know DDP yoga is kind of like power yoga. If it was like a weightlifting, it'd be powerlifting, right?
yeah, Diamond Dallas Page he doesn't want it to be called yoga, but in sense, dynamic resistance is the key to it. So, oh, you want to get everything engaged. So, uh, yeah, I guess as what you say in terms of like weightlifting,
Hmm.
it's similar. I
There was one, I don't know what it's called, but it's like you're imagining that you're holding a medicine ball. And I was watching it, and he's like, grip your feet like with your toes. And I never thought about that before. Grip your
yeah
toes into the ground, flex everything.
yeah
And holy
yeah
crap.
yeah yeah grip your toes on the mat at slightly bend the knees.
Hmm.
He's I'm just gonna do it as
As you go.
just got up from a chair now. Grip your toes to the mat. Slightly bend the knees. He's feel the quads flex. X, and squeeze the glutes. Glutes. And you want to try to pull your legs together without moving them. Makes an isometric movement.
Hmm.
Movement. Now, reach out and grab the ball. Well, spread those fingers wide. All right. So you can feel that your forearm, bicep, triceps are engaged. H.
Which and it's weird. Really quick, sorry.
Yeah.
When you do that, um, for those of you who have never picked up medicine balls they come in different weights. It to me, I'm imagining picking up a 20-pound medicine ball and grabbing it like as much
Yeah.
strength as I can, and it's weird. You feel the muscles in your hands and in your fingers and in your fingertips. It's like there are muscles there, and you don't really realize that until you're doing this.
Yeah. It's a different level of calisthenics.
Hmm.
You do yoga movements. We do push-ups too, but in a slow burn movement.
That one, it stuck with me, and that's why I really was like when you said
Yeah.
you wanted to do this journey with us, um, we'll journey together. I was on
Yeah.
board because that stuck with me. I'm not gonna lie to you. I do that in the shower every single morning when I get up and I take my shower. I do that under hot water and whatnot, and that's like my way to wake myself up and get my body moving. And I feel a little bit better every morning. So
Yeah.
it's a weird one, and I know that's kind of like, but for me at least, that one like resonated with me so much, and it really to me was like I totally understand now why he says it's not yoga. It's
Yeah.
it's different.
Yeah. It's not your mama's yoga.
And there's nothing wrong with that. Love yoga. Hot yoga was amazing. I was never more flexible than when I did yoga, and that's what got me excited about it. But yeah, we're gonna
Yeah.
get Ben going on his journey. I know it's gonna take a village to help get him there, and we're more than happy to do it. And I know Ben, we appreciate you so much for carrying us to our beginnings with DDP yoga and helping us get start dropping the weight again, man. I miss being trim.
Yeah. I've never been trimmed, so I'm looking forward forward to getting you there as well.
Awesome. Well, that's gonna do it for us, guys. It's actually been really good for me. I mean, me and you, we talk
Yeah.
every now and then, but for me at least, it's been good catching up with you, kind of getting your ideas and thoughts about some stuff that we do here.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, we just wanted to say thank you again, jobbers, from all of us here. I know Gabe and Simon not here, but I just want to say thank you guys for listening and helping us out, liking us on Facebook, sharing with us, and just really making it better for us and getting our name out there.
Yeah. We appreciate your support.
Well,
Alright.
oh, yep. You have anything else to add to that?
Yeah. A-lister, if you're listening to this, you're gonna get a shift change sooner or later.
Oh, there's a rivalry brewing here, by the way, guys. The A-lister and the bus driver, they don't like each other. They're, it gets pretty heated. I wish we could toss in we have a group message, and if I could toss you guys some of the images from that, I think you get the heated rivalry we got going on
Yeah.
here. So,
It's a blue collar mentality here.
oh man, yeah, we don't like these A-listers. I mean, to be fair, I'm on his side a little bit because I'm a little bit more. I'm not the most blue collar right now, but we'll that might be our first championship matchup. Might be the A-lister and the bus driver. Well, thank you guys again. We really do appreciate it. And from all of us here at the Jobbers, we want to say have a great day, and we will see you next time.
See it. Thank you for your support on Patreon. Don't forget to like and subscribe to us on YouTube and Facebook. You can follow us on Twitter using the links on our website. See you next time, Jobbers.